This weekend, Ty Gibbs will be in Phoenix racing for the Xfinity Series championship and battling against the odds, competing against three junior motorsports drivers in Josh Berry, Justin Allgaier, and Noah Gragson. It's a steep uphill climb for the Joe Gibbs racing driver, and he's only got himself to blame. Last weekend at Martinsville, Gibbs took the white flag, running second behind JGR teammate Brandon Jones. Logic would say that Gibbs, who had already advanced on points, would allow his teammate to cruise to victory and advance to the championship four. Logic and the 20-year-old driver aren't a good mix. Instead, Gibbs inexplicably drove hard into the back of the number 19 car, sending him up the track, into the wall, and out of the championship hunt. Just like that, in one fell swoop, Gibbs had reduced the number of JGR cars in the championship and added a third JRM car to the title chase. Instead of a tempered celebration after what he had done, the youngster performed a lengthy burnout and then climbed out of his car to a chorus of boos raining down from the stands. Gibbs stood on his door and motioned to the crowd, egging on their negative reaction, encouraging the boos. His post-race interviews, as discussed in our last video, were nothing short of disastrous, making an awkward comparison to Jesus before transforming into a robot in the media center, where he repeated the same answer over and over again. Those egregious miscalculations in judgment were just the latest in a line of missteps this season for the driver. Gibbs has revealed on numerous occasions that, for him, emotions rule over logic. Sam Mayer in the spring at Martinsville, Justin Allgaier at Kansas, Ty Dillon and Eric Jones in the Cup Series race at Texas. The list goes on and on. Numerous times, Gibbs has apologized for his behavior, promised he's going to learn from it, and committed not to do it again. It's become a fool-me-once kinda deal. His words now ring hollow. This week on the Dale Jr. Download, Earnhardt, who just happens to be the beneficiary of Gibbs' boneheaded decision at Martinsville, which allowed Allgaier to advance, talked about the youngster's behavior and called into question those who are advising him.
And I think that there needs to be maybe a small adjustment or a big adjustment in how they are internally communicating with Ty, because what it felt like that he got out thinking, I did what they wanted me to do.
Look how proud they're going to be.
Look how
of me.
happy they're going to be.
Yeah.
I did what.
Yeah.
I did what from what I've been listening and hearing, and over the past several weeks or several months, that I'm gonna get some fist pumps from my guys.
Right.
You see the guys fist pumping him from the crew across pit wall. You know, that's affirmation, and this was a good thing. Nobody, they're not mad, they're not ashamed. You know, and will he get the real talk from Coy and Joe after this scenario, or will he get more? Hey man, we'll figure it. We're going to work through this. You're going to have, this is part of it. This is part of the process.
Like everyone else, Earnhardt can see by the former coach's words, and more importantly his actions, that those responsible for guiding the 20-year-old are doing so with kid gloves. There are no consequences for his actions. What's crazy is Earnhardt's word choice describing the behind-the-scenes conversations at JGR almost matched exactly with what Joe Gibbs told reporters this week when talking about his grandson and how things are being handled.
And we want to go about this the right way. And we're walking, I am, and our family is with Ty as he walks through all of this. When tough things happen, and certainly nobody wanted that to happen, I said, now there's consequences. And so we're trying to walk through those with him. I was also there. And so I think a lot about that too. There's things that I could have done a better job of. And so I think together, Ty's walking through it, I'm walking through it, and we're still in that process.
It's a process that clearly has not worked. While Joe Gibbs deserves all the respect in the world for his achievements, winning 3 Super Bowls and what he's done in the last 30-plus years in NASCAR, he's now reached a point at 81 years of age where fans, many of them JGR loyalists, are justifiably questioning his judgment. He confirmed that later in the same call with reporters when talking about the personality of his drivers and specifically how they respond to booing from the fans.
But I think each one of our drivers, it's their personality that needs to come out. They obviously are themselves, and their persona to their fans is really important to each one of them. And certainly it was with Kyle. And, I don't, I know that I don't think any of our drivers want to be in a negative situation or be booed. I know that certainly Ty doesn't. I know that, Kyle didn't. And I don't think you want that to be there. But sometimes events and what happens can make that a reality, and it does happen.
Ty doesn't like booze? Kyle Busch doesn't like booze? Did he watch his grandson's reaction on Saturday at Martinsville as he stood on the window and encouraged the raucous fans booing? Gibbs also mentioned Busch not liking booze. There are countless times when the two-time Cup Series champion has done the same as his grandson and provoked the fans. Just last year at Bristol, where driver introductions are a thing, the 37-year-old got creative during his walkout and used the fans' negative reaction to his benefit.
Wonder who this is. If you love you some Rowdy, let me hear you go. Boom. That's my man.
Both examples prove that Joe Gibbs is disconnected from reality. He says one thing and his drivers do another. That's why fans and folks like Dale Jr. are tired of hearing about how Ty will go through the process. It hasn't worked. It won't work unless there is a major adjustment, and that involves real consequences for his actions. But in all honesty, after seeing Gibbs' repeated poor decisions go unpunished over the last 2 seasons, there's no reason for anyone to believe it's going to change anytime soon.